Hello, good morning, good evening, good all the things. I am Catie Brannon, and thank you so much for tuning into my podcast. This is Tea Time True Crime with Catie, and every time, most of the time, when I talk about a case, I have tea or coffee. Today I have raspberry tea in my Good Witch little cup. I know it's so cute. It's pale pink and it says Good Witch in this really cool font in white kind of handwriting. It's really pretty. So, oh yes, raspberry tea hits very good, especially when the cramps are fierce. Am I right? Okay. So this case, you guys, is no one talks about this case. Like, I am so surprised that I even found it. It does not have a 48 hours episode. If you guys don't know what that is basically like a crime documentary that talks about a lot of crimes. Very mainstream, whether it's solved, unsolved. You get a lot of media attention with this case. Now, this case did get a lot of media attention in its town, in its state, but it wasn't like national headlines. I did find a few articles about this case, but no other podcaster has talked about this case. Unless I don't have Spotify, I could be wrong, but I have Apple Podcasts and I go on YouTube to check other podcasts and there is nothing. So I am going to talk about this case the best of my ability. My sources are very limited. So if you guys have seen Deadly Women, I have talked about this show before. It is an investigation discovery documentary show, and it's very good. It actually talks about the psychology of the woman killers. It's mostly women killers, deadly women. But also, they have men on there too that also had to do with killings and stuff like that. So I got this case from Deadly Women, and as soon as I saw it, my heart, I was shaking after this segment. Each segment is like 15 minutes long. It's like a 40 something minute episode, but if you have HBO Max, definitely stream, you guys. All 14 seasons it's on there, okay? So I found this on Deadly Women, and I went on YouTube and I tried to find more information on this case, and I found one episode from Oxygen and a little snippet from Oxygen, and that's it. Like, I can't believe it. I can't believe like no other person has covered this case. So I have a lot of duty here. I'm really excited, but I'm also very scared because I do not want to re-traumatize the family, but people do need to be remembered, okay? Because what this case is so brutal that the killer thought they got away with it. And we didn't catch these bastards until 34 years later. Oh yeah. Warning, my video contains adult situations, just unconventional marriage, death, just the bad things, but it's my job here to make sure that when I talk about a true crime, that I feel like I do not bring any bad, negative energy to anyone listening or anything like that. Like, I'm sending positive, loving energy to the families involved in this case, and I'm not talking about re-traumatizing, okay? That's not why I'm doing this. I do it for advocacy and awareness. And also, if you're listening or watching, hi, thank you. And remember, you're being the voice, you're helping the voice for the voiceless as well. And you're being the voice too, just by, supporting my channel, commenting, like, share. Yeah, so if true crime is kind of like your niche, I guess that's the word, definitely hit like, subscribe, share, follow, all the good things. I'll have my socials written down below. Check me out on Instagram. And yeah, I'm also a streamer. I do Tumblr Live, I do Kick, I do TikTok. So yeah, I do all the things. So if you guys want to talk to me about crime suggestions, email me, teatimecb@yahoo.com, and I appreciate you. All right, without further ado, we're going to talk about the Gaimari. Yes, Gaimari brutal murder. And it just didn't affect the person being killed. It was like a butterfly effect in like the worst negative way. So we're going to get onto it, and I'm going to take you back to April 30th, 1979. April 30th, 1979 was a horrible home invasion, okay? I will get back to the details soon, but right now I really want to focus on Carl Gaimari and Jackie Gaimari. So I didn't really find out a little bit about Jackie. Like I said, there's like not much about this case. Carl came from a very loving family. Jackie, the way it sounds, I mean, where she came from, not entirely sure, but I really want to focus on Carl, and I want to focus on Bobbi. So Jackie is human garbage, which you'll find out in a moment. Okay, so basically Jackie and Carl Gaimari are married, and they have 4 children. Now they have Bobbi, they have Nick, and the other 2 were not listed. I'm thinking because they were minors, you know, or they were like really, really young. I know it's frustrating, I do apologize, but there is 4 children. The one I could find, there's a 13-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 15-year-old, okay? So those are the children. I know we're missing the last one, but it doesn't say. I'm guessing it doesn't say because of them being minors, or they do not want to leak their information to the media or the press, but we're doing it. So I'm doing this the best I can to immortalize someone who got murdered and their killer almost got away with it. So let's go back to Jackie and Carl Gaimari. So it was the 1970s, okay? And they seemed to be very happy. They were very, I don't know, people were very jealous of them because they had money and they looked like they really, really loved each other. Now, it doesn't say that they had like an open marriage, but you know, not everything lasts forever, especially if you marry the people for the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? But then we don't know about that. But we do know is that they both started having affairs. Yes, they both were. And they actually brought their lovers to interact with their own children, which, what? Like, those kids had to be so confused. So, you know, it comes to a head. I don't know who got jealous more, Carl or Jackie, or you know, or what have you, but they wanted a divorce, okay? So when they were planning on a divorce, they were separated. They were still living together, which is like awkward. I think they pretty much wanted to stay together, kind of at least have some kind of normalcy for the children, you know, the 4 kids. So the 4 kids talk about their dad being a very loving father, very kind. I'm sure, you know, him and Jackie had issues, yes, and he worked at a really good job in finance. So his kids were always taken care of, but family members really did love Carl and said he was a good dude. He was a good guy, despite, you know, having extramarital affairs, but, you know, so was Jackie. So, I mean, this is the kind of thing where you're like, well, who's really to blame? It's just, I don't know. But that's what happened. They started having affairs, they want a divorce, bing, shada, boom, okay? Now, she would not, Jackie, this is unbelievable. If you've heard of a narcissist, I think she fits the bill. She would actually make her older children stay at home from school to actually cook and clean and also watch the other younger children. Yes. So she can do whatever she wanted but the kids could basically fend for themselves. She was very strict on her children, and also she really spent more time with her boyfriends. Like I said, she spent way more time with her lovers, her boyfriends, than her own kids. So even though she had kids, I don't think that really makes her a mother, you know? Yeah. Yeah, I was like, damn. So, already things are kind of weird. Things are kind of shattered. You have money, you have betrayal, you have affair, you have divorce. Now, we're going to go back to April 30th. Sorry, you guys. 1979. It took place in Inverness, Illinois. It was Inverness, Illinois, you guys, back in the 70s. Oh, that place was like royalty. Very nice area. It's outside of Chicago, so very wealthy area. Like no crimes ever happened, except they said a little bit of domestic disputes or car trouble, you know, car stuff. I'm guessing car theft. Or like just really minor, the police said. They're like, this place, Inverness, is like an amazing place to raise a family and to feel safe. So, yes. But, of course, we all know when you have those ritzy towns outside of a big city, things can happen. Things can happen everywhere. Remember that. But Inverness was known for the friendliness of people, the beautiful landscapes. I mean, the home was really nice, you know. So yeah, they said there were never any brutal, horrible crimes. So this crime that happened in 1979 shook a community. Like they were shook. Okay. So we're gonna talk about the home invasion, and it's rough. It's brutal. Warning. This is just think about it. Like, I don't want you to think about it, but just think about poor Carl. Let's just think about poor Carl and just realize there was children downstairs with Jackie in the living room, and then all of a sudden 2 masked gunmen come in the back door. It's hysterics. The kids don't understand what's happening. You know, Jackie is freaking out. Everyone is just freaking out. I mean, you have they were masked. They were all in black, and they just like ran through the back door. Yeah. I think it was like noon or 1 p.m. So it was just like random, and the kids are scared to death. So they go and grab the kids that are downstairs, and they go and grab Jackie, and you know, she's trying to like put up a fight, and they take her upstairs to the closet, and they tie up Jackie, Bobbi, Nick in the closet. Yeah. So they look inside the closet and find 2 handguns. Yes. The 2 masked gunmen were going through the closet around them, and suddenly they find 2 handguns. So they they don't understand what's going on. The kids are in hysterics. They don't know what is happening. And then the 2 masked gunmen grabbed both guns and they went downstairs. And they kind of like made themselves at home. Yeah, weird. They actually went and made themselves some drinks and just completely just ransacked the downstairs. You know, just like making it a mess, throwing books off shelves. Just make it like a real, just like a ransacking situation. So it was just like, what is happening? You know, the kids are hearing commotion downstairs. They don't know. And all of a sudden, Carl comes home at like 1:30 p.m. And he comes home from work and he is greeted by the two masked gunmen. Now, according to the Oxygen episode, he went in through the garage and the masked gunmen were waiting as soon as he entered the home. So, of course, Carl is like, oh my God, like, what do you want? Like, he has no idea what's going on. He has no idea where his wife is or where his children are. He is in a total panic, okay? And he's like, hey, take whatever you want, like, all that. So what they do is they make him go into the basement. The home had like some kind of furnished basement with like a couch and some furniture. So they make him they make him sit down on the couch. And of course, he is pleading for his life, okay? Carl is just like begging for his life, like, yo man, I don't want no trouble, like, come on. And remember, be in his shoes. You just come home from work, you just want to see your kids and your wife and just relax, maybe get something to eat, and you do not want to be faced with two masked gunmen, right? That is like anxiety and nightmare fuel central, okay? So as Carl is being sat down, Carl Gaimari, okay? As he is being sat down, he's pleading. And out of nowhere, the two masked gunmen shot him 6 times in the chest. Yeah, with his own guns. With Carl's own guns from the closet. They shoot him 6 times. And they leave the guns at the scene. One person put one gun in his lap, and the other one was very close to the body. Now, it was weird. It looked like he was, the whole thing is weird and messed up. So he was like slumped over, because after being shot, he slumped over. So in a weird, sick way, if you didn't see all the bloodshed, that was under his shirt, I'm guessing the way he was hunched over, it formed a shadow, so you didn't automatically see all the blood. It looked kind of like he was sleeping. Yeah. I know, it's so sad. So, it was odd because 13-year-old, let's see, Becky, one of the daughters came home. Becky Gaimari. Yeah, it's weird because they said Becky Gaimari, or they said Bobbi. Now, Bobbi was the one who, Bobbi was the one who was tied up in the closet. So it was Becky, yes. So Becky she came home from school. That's right. Yes. Becky came home from school. I don't know why she was at school because, usually Jackie forces her younger kids to take care of the young, we already talked about that. Like, worse than Mommy Dearest. Like, I tell you, what the hell. So Becky comes in from school and she goes like downstairs. I'm not sure if the garage is close to the basement, the way the house was laid out, again, there's not much information, so I'm really just trying to speculate how it worked. But one of the daughters did come home, and she did, see her dad, and she thought he was sleeping. But then, she hears yelling upstairs, and she looks in the closet and realizes her mom, her sister, and her brother are tied up. And then they're like, where's Dad? They're asking, where is Dad? Where is he? And of course, the daughter is like, oh, he's downstairs sleeping, And they're like, what? So Bobbi goes and runs downstairs to her dad, and she screams Daddy, in like the most heartfelt way, because her dad is murdered right there. I just can't imagine the trauma of what these young kids saw about their dad being killed. Their dad who they loved very, very much. Like, that is so messed up. Excuse me. So Bobbi is crying and calling dad. The kids are in hysterics, and and Jackie is in hysterics, and they're crying. It's a horrible scene. And then she goes and tells her daughter, like, oh my God, Bobbi, did you not lock the door? And of course, the young daughter's like, oh my God, Mom, I don't know. Yeah. So after that happened, investigators were baffled. They didn't understand. And if you guys are watching, forgive me, I have a Sphinx cat. He is a little bit rambunctious, but he's my baby. So he sometimes comes to the screen. So yes, that isn't just something you're just seeing. It's just Bowie. Just wants to hang out with us. Okay. All right. So basically, Jackie blames her own daughter for the death of her father. Yeah, she totally did. She totally did. If you have a home invasion and the freaking gunman just came in through the back door, there was no forced entry whatsoever, you're going to think they came in because the door was unlocked. Well, Jackie, again, blamed her daughter. Did you put the... that's just so sick. So sick. Okay. Because when that happened, her daughter couldn't take the guilt. Couldn't take the guilt, and she ended her life. It didn't say what age this happened. It didn't say how, but it did say that she ended her life because the daughter thought she killed her father. As I said before, investigators were baffled. There was no robbery because when they got there, there was still jewelry there. There were still expensive items. There seemed to be no motive, and usually robbery happens when no one is home. Robbers do not when no one is home. So just a few days after this brutal murder of her husband, Jackie goes and throws a party. Oh yeah. She explained she threw a party to have a celebration of his life and everything, but bystanders and people at the party were very confused because it seemed like she was having a party because of his death. It wasn't the celebration of life. Yeah, I know. Like, what? You got balls, lady. You got friggin' balls. So Elsie, Jackie's sister, is shocked. Absolutely shocked. Because Carl just died in a brutal way, and a few days later, you're throwing a party? Then, you guys, at the party, among the mourners of Carl's death is Jackie's lover, Sam. Yeah, Sam Greco. Yes. He moved in. He moved in, you guys. He moved in, I think, just like a month later, less than that, in the home. And of course, her kids are like, what? You know, what? And Elsie is like, are you out of your mind? What are you doing? And she's like, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. I need somebody there. Yep. So, very awful, awful, awful murder of an innocent person. Now, you're wondering, well, Catie, didn't they look at Jackie? They did, but I found out there's only like a $30,000 life insurance policy. I know that's not a lot. It's not. And she would be getting the assets or whatever, but it was going to take like several years. I think like up to 7 years on some of the properties. So the police are like, I mean, that's normal, you know, when an accident or something like that happens, you have to be fully investigated. And she was cooperative. She was. She was very cooperative. So, and also Carl, remember I told you he was in finance? This is weird. This is, I mean, this could be like coincidence or not, you guys. Carl's associate at his job where he worked at in finance did gambling, and so did Carl. So people were thinking maybe it was a mob hit. It is around Chicago. It is in the 70s. I mean, anyone heard of, let's see, Goodfellas? Casino? You know? So, I mean, it was a possibility. It's just wild how everything worked out in this lady's favor. It's really friggin' weird. But Carl's partner, you know, his business associate completely disappeared. Like, no rhyme, reason, no trace. So people do think he had mob ties because he did get in trouble with gambling. Maybe he had a lot of debt. Who knows? So police were thinking, well, maybe Carl did the same. You know, he had a lot of money, so maybe he got in with the wrong crowd, and it was like a hit, you know? So, time goes by, you guys. Time goes by. And what do you know? What do you know? The case is reopened. In 2009, a new regime of police officers and detectives came to Inverness, Illinois. And these guys these were not no spring chickens, okay? A lot of them had experience in the field of law enforcement for over 25 years. So I'm going to call out these amazing detectives, Mike Kirby and Bill Stutzman. Woo! You guys are awesome. So they actually opened the case. They were, them and a few people were hired, of course, in the police department. But this is 30 years later after the crime. So you have new technology. You have modern technology. You have new set of eyes. Okay? So as they were going through the cold cases, they went through the Gaimari case. And they found out physical evidence was actually destroyed by a flood. Yeah, wherever they kept going, it just seemed they just hit a wall. Until they looked up interviews. Yes, they went and looked up interviews. Because when the crime happened, police would go to friends, family, get their statements and stuff like that. Well, in 1981, it was written down that Elsie, which was Jackie's sister, went to the police and told her suspicions about her sister involved in the murder of her husband. But for reasons unknown, I don't understand, they never followed up on it. No, they did not. They did not follow up on it at all. But you know what? You got Bill and you got Mike. And Mike and Bill are following up on it. And guess what? Elsie did not change her mind. She did not. Sadly, she did not have honor towards her sister. But, you know, if my sister was a horrible person and a psycho too, I mean, you made your bed, honey. Now you gotta lie in it. Just saying. So 34 years later, they contact Elsie. And they get Elsie to actually take down her sister. I know, it's awful because I have a sister and I was like, I just can't imagine. Oh, the betrayal. But you know, I mean, Jackie, you are a crazy bitch and you did make your daughter like kill herself. So you are a horrible, horrible person. Now, they actually got Jackie to confess on recording. Yes, they got her. Bam. There was no physical evidence, no nothing. If Jackie would not, she felt some kind of guilt to say what she said. I have it right here. So, Elsie. Hello? Jackie. Hi. How are you? Elsie. Not good. The police are asking about Carl's murder again. And you told me there was a plan to get rid of Carl. Jackie. Please don't tell them that. I'm begging you. I'd rather kill myself than go to jail. Elsie. I'm sorry, Jackie. Bam! We got her. They got it on tape. That is confession. That's a confession. That was a damning piece of evidence to her case. Now, another sad thing. They never got the gunman. Nope. They're either not alive or she is not talking. So the case is open still. And, you know, she never identified the gunman. And they are still out there. In 2016, Jackie Greco got 30 years to life for first-degree murder. Bye. Bye-bye. You gone. You horrible person. You gone. Jackie Greco was in her 70s. Yes, she was 73 and was sentenced to 30 years. Yeah, like I said, according to a 2020 article. The tip line is open in Inverness, Illinois, and if you have any tip on where you can find the gunman, if you want to unburden your soul and tell somebody so this family could get closure, that would be great. Okay, that would be awesome. This case is truly awful. I found out her motive was pretty much money and to be with her boyfriend. She said that if she got a divorce, you know, she would have to give half of everything, but she wanted it all. And she did. She got away with it for 34 years. It is a great case to say that whatever happens in the darkness will always come to light. Absolutely. I feel really, really terrible for the children though. Like, I cannot imagine the trauma of like losing their father who they loved very, very much. And, you know, and they lost their sister. And even though she got away with it, she didn't even unburden her daughter. She didn't even say like, hey, I need to talk to you. I just want to say that it was you that you locked the door. It wasn't you that unlocked it. Isn't it insane how that statement could have saved someone's life? Because this poor girl was burdened so bad that she thought she killed her dad. Sorry, guys. Cramps are fierce. So, hormones, you know, sorry. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about this case? It is awful. I mean, I love the cold case detectives, you know, going through it, and they're like, something's not right. Like, it's really weird. Home invasions do not do this. Like, you get your stuff, you get out. You don't murder somebody. And you don't tie up children and leave them in a closet. What? Yeah. It's an awful story, and I feel in my heart that Carl should be remembered because his brother loves and misses him. He's the one that did a couple interviews on the Oxygen show, And this guy who was just like an investigator, I believe, an investigative journalist named George. Shout out to you, George. Ooh, he put the emotion in that show. I was like, oh my God. And I feel like, I was like, I need to talk about this. This is nuts. All right, I'm rambling. I know I am. But let me know what you guys think about this. It is pretty unbelievable. Thank goodness for the detectives who caught the killer. And I guess thank you, Jackie. Yes, you're a horrible person, but you know, you always had to look behind you. Like you always had to look behind your back. But for 30 years you lived your life. That's insane, guys. But yeah, sometimes if you do the crime, you definitely are going to do the time. All right. Thank you so much for watching, you guys, or listening. I appreciate you so, so much. Please know that you are loved and you are cherished. And remember, you are doing better than you think. Until next time, bye.